So the first thing I want you to know is that God uses people. Point number 2, God uses things. Why am I talking to you like that? I am talking to you like this because I don't want you to limit God's visitation in your life. God uses people. He does. In fact, one of the most humbling situations I have discovered in ministry is that most often the people you don't like in church are the ones that God will commit your destiny into their hands. So when you come to church and you choose certain people, they form cliques in church, form groups in church. I always say to people, you are a brother in the church. You will greet some people. Good afternoon, my sister. They'll say, hi, good afternoon. If you turn around and look at them, the next minute they will meet somebody else. They will go, hey, were you also in church today? I didn't know you were in church. Now, you that they greeted like this, you are now wondering, what's wrong with me? You are actually looking at yourself again. Because you now feel like, is there something wrong with me? Some years ago, when the Lord sent us to South Africa, and we just arrived, we went and we joined a church, a congregation. It was 100% all white. I've got one here. Praise the Lord. It was 100% all white. And so me and my family were the only blacks in the congregation. And every Sunday when we go to church, they will leave a mark around where we sit. They will leave like 2 seats that way, 2 seats that way, 2 seats that way, 2 seats there. So we were an island sitting in the congregation. After 4 weeks, on the 4th Sunday, they had expected us not to come again. We kept coming. So after 4 Sundays, the pastor called me, cornered me outside, and he said to me, my brother, what's your name again? I said, my name is Abel. He said, brother Abel. He put his hand on my shoulder. He said, please don't come back. I said, I don't understand, sir. He said to me, the brethren are complaining. So I said, did we do something wrong? He said, no. It's not like you did something wrong. It's just that there's something wrong with your presence. So I said, what could be wrong, sir? He said, they said you stink. So I said, stink. Then he said to me, oh, I can understand if you don't know the meaning of stink. It means you smell. No, I didn't read it in a book. I'm talking to you from a personal experience. I was almost losing it. Inside me, I was thinking of giving him a piece. Don't give people a piece of your mind. Glory to God. Nobody deserves a piece. No, give all of your heart to Jesus. Only Jesus alone. I was already considering on how to answer him. And my wife stepped forward and said, what did he say? I said, the man said we shouldn't come back, we smell. She looked at me and she said, are you angry? I said, are you not angry? She said, why are you angry? Paul wrote to the Corinthian church. He said, we carry a fragrance. That fragrance is a fragrance of death to some people. He said, what we carry is offending them. That's why they need help. If I had gotten angry, sir, we will have lost the biggest miracle we had in that nation. Because 2 weeks down the line, We came back. The next Sunday, we came back. They gave us the gap again. 2 weeks down the line, we came into the service. We were sitting there. It was worship time. I was on my knees worshiping, and everybody was standing up. They had their hands in the air. The pastors went to the pulpit, took the microphone, stopped the worship, and he said, God gave somebody a word for us today. And then he said, Brother Abel, where are you? On our way to church, I had told my family in the car, God gave me a word for these people. And I remember they laughed at me and said, how will you tell them? They said, you smell. So I had a plan in my mind that after church, I was going to call the pastor aside and say to him, David, look, this is what the Lord laid in my head. And then while the service was going on, the same man who conveyed the bad news is the one God used to come to me. He didn't just say God gave somebody a name. He called my name, which means he could hear God. Someone touched me on the shoulder and said, they are calling you. I jumped up. And then he said, come here, my brother, come here. I stepped forward. He gave the microphone to me. For 10 minutes, I spoke to the congregation. And it was a simple message from where Jesus took a coin and said, whose image do you see on this coin? And he said, why withhold from Caesar what belongs to Caesar? And the Lord has said to me that morning, tell these people, if the image in their heart is the image of God, why are they holding back from giving themselves to God? And I shared that message, put the microphone down. The pastor came, took the microphone. He said, brothers and sisters, that was the message for today. Join us for coffee and tea. Church was closed. I sat down. The entire church didn't go for coffee. The entire church surrounded where I stood. More than half of them were in tears. He said to me, your children, are they in school? I said, no, they are not in school. They don't have study permits. It's too expensive. She paid for everything that same day. From that same day, another family pitched themselves onto us. Sir, when you first visited us in South Africa, that house we lived in, it was a product of that visitation. God uses people. Look, I can take the entire day